Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Diamond with Darling Dr. Dime, and today we're going to be talking about green flags for a new job, and that can be if you are a new graduate OT or just someone looking to change settings. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. So green flags will be the opposite of red flags. So things that you want to look for that you think are going to be a good fit for you. So number one is flexibility. And this can be for as far as how long you work, the caseload, and also time off for sick days and vacation time. Is there flexibility with that? And is that going to fit your current season in life as well as future seasons? For example, if I picked a job that was from 8 to 6. That might fit me now, but do I plan on staying there long enough so I can stay there for a new season where I might need to be off at 4 or be able to come in later or things like that. If you're someone who doesn't live close to family and you're going to be able to have that time to take off to spend time with the holidays and things like that, thinking about those things. Is there that flexibility, or is there the ability for you to have your personal needs met? The second one goes into the first, flexibility. So this goes into balance. Are you going to be able to have a work-life balance with the hours that you have? And of course, it depends on what type of person that you are. Some people can get up earlier and they can get the things done that they want to. Like if you're big on going to the gym and you get up early at 6 and then you go to work at 7 or 8 and you're good to go, that's going to work great. So thinking about how is it going to fit into your life? Is it going to be something that's going to be feasible for your mental health and for your overall wellness over time? Number 3 is opportunity for growth. So are you noticing that people that are working there right now are where they started off when they first worked there 5, 6, 7 years ago, or 2 to 3 years ago? Is there an opportunity for you to grow as a clinician, as a therapist, with your leadership skills or with your clinical skills? Or are you going to have to seek that out on your own? So those are things to consider as well. Number four, collaboration. So are you going to have a environment where you can collaborate with other disciplines, with other therapists, and feel connected? And this also goes into what you prefer to, because some people prefer to do things solo and maybe have those skills met or have that teamwork approach separately, as far as like you call another therapist instead of working side by side with them. So it depends on just really evaluating what works for you and what your needs are. And you can even think about, if you've never had a clinical job before, you can think about what worked for you for field work, what worked for when you were in school. Did you do better with group projects? Did you do better one-on-one time? Did you really enjoy those ones where you had the labs and you're really hands-on as a team? Things like that to consider to help you figure out, okay, where do I really thrive in a work environment? The next one is mentorship. And so this one is a tricky one because everyone says that you should have a mentor as a new grad or if you're going into a new setting, right? But there's not a lot of people right now that are going to be mentors, and there are resources out there that are growing, but it's just harder than people make it sound sometimes. And so don't feel bad if right off the jump you can't find a mentor, or if they're not very helpful with finding one. It does take a little bit of work sometimes. And so if they have someone on site, that's great. If you can try to meet with them, make sure that's a good professional fit, that's great. If it's someone who maybe is familiar with OT, but is not an OT, that can at least, be a mentor as far as figuring out how to deal with the caseload, the clients, being able to help you with figuring out how to adjust to being in this new area outside of like things I might deal with, sensory feeding, autism, things like that, where they might not know that much about OT in that area, and then you refer to OT in the same field, but it might not be at that clinic. Oh, and then if you go on like Facebook and Instagram, there are a lot of groups out there now that have mentorship opportunities. And so it does take a lot of knocking on doors and finding the right fit for you and for that person too, because it's a back and forth relationship. It's not like just a gimme. but it's back and forth. And so when you find that fit, it'll feel amazing. And so I hope you are able to get that. And the second part would be COTAD also has a mentorship program. And so checking that out as well. Another one, which is very important, right? That would be pay, right? The money. We want the money, right? So thinking about, okay, what is the average in your area? What's the cost of living in your area? And what are they offering? Does that match up with what you need in that area? Are they paying you what you're worth? And that's so important, not just because of finances, but also to know, like, you went to school for this, you worked hard for this. You want to feel like you're already feeling valued from the jump, and at least that there's opportunity to grow in that area. So even if it's maybe lower than you expected at first, is there opportunity to have a feasible raise that's achievable so you can consistently get to that point that you want to be at? Because it's very hard for you to feel like you want to contribute to a work culture when you already from the beginning feel like, okay, I'm undervalued, I'm underpaid. Why am I going to do anything if I'm never going to get a raise? So considering that, and not just taking the first job, if you want this to be something that you are, at for a while, considering that, if you can, the pay, and not just taking the first, check, negotiating, which is another conversation. The last one, which is also a super important one, would be work culture. And this one is something everyone also talks about, but that's kind of hard to figure out just from the interview. And so thinking about how the interviewee talks to you, how they interact with the other therapists in the area, asking those questions about how they build work friendships, work relationships, I should say, how they build team bonding, and just follow your gut and your intuition. They might say small things that give you hints, so just have the ear for it, and think about, okay, does this sound like a place where I want to be? So if that's not going to bother you, it's not going to bother you about the work culture and how they interact. If you're kind of in a situation where maybe you're not working there as much, maybe part-time or contract work, and you're just here to do your work and go, then that's okay. And that's totally fine. And especially if you have other activities, other relationships outside of work, if you're like in a new environment, like let's say you move to a new city, as long as you have those connections elsewhere, then that's okay. If you're not the kind of person that gets sucked into drama and sucked into doing all that day-to-day stuff, you just want to be in and out, then hey, that works for you too. And so with all these, I think the biggest thing is just to remember to think about what works for you, and not just the salary, not just, okay, this is the next step, I need to get a job, but especially if you want to stay in that area for a while, if you don't want to hop too fast, because sometimes it's okay to hop, 1 to 2 years, but if you don't want to be like there for a month and you're like, oh, I hate it here, really consider what are those factors that work for you and help you flourish to be the best person and the best clinician that you want to be. So if you have any other questions, drop them down in the chat below. I hope this was helpful. I feel like I wish I had this when I was a new grad, because I feel like I've made good decisions and I've also made bad decisions when picking places that I thought would be good fits, or maybe I thought it would just be good for my career, but not actually didn't turn out to be good for me personally or like professionally in the long run. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching.
Peace.